This is the After Party, live with Kim McAllister. Pick a couch, grab a drink, and settle into the conversation.
Hey everybody, it is the After Party Live. It has been, well, we're not over yet, but it's been a great week with Michael Schur in the captain's chair of the Mark Thompson Show. Totally takes the pressure off of me, I have to say. And he's bringing some great guests as well. It's been really interesting to see how this week has worked out. And tomorrow he's got some more great guests lined up as well. So I'm excited, and it was good to see Mark Thompson relaxing aboard the boat today as well. And I hope you enjoyed that show. Thank you for being here. Oops, and I forgot to take the loop off. It's going to be Trivia Thursday today. I have some great trivia questions lined up. And of course, I want to make sure that everybody knows tonight, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, wherever you are in the world, the Nikki Maduro Show is going to be on YouTube as well. Again, that's 5 p.m. Pacific. Cocktails, mocktails, and politics, and it's something I enjoy doing every week, so we'll be there. Yeah, Mindy says Michael is great. I think so too. There's nothing he can't do. This is awesome. Let's see. SJ Lola, glad to join everyone today. Oh, I'm so sorry. She says her dad passed away somewhat unexpectedly on Monday. I'm so sorry to hear it. Huge hug to you. My heart goes out. I'm sorry. That's awful. Well, I'm glad we can be here to rally around you. And I'm sorry that you're going through that tough time. That is not easy. My apologies about that. Mindy says Mark is getting some good R&R. He looks very relaxed. He really did, didn't he? Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into some of the stories that I have put together for you guys today ahead of Trivia Thursday. And the first one has to do with, I love the pictures, what drew me in, these stars. And it looks like it's going to be some type of maybe beach installation, but no, it looks like this is just ahead of where it's really going to go. This is an interesting story. They're going to create an artificial reef off the coast of Florida to help repopulate coral and other things. And so they're putting together an underwater sculpture park, which will eventually become this reef. In this case, you have these incredible stars. It's a series of 3D printed stars that right now is sitting on the shoreline at Miami Beach for Miami Art Week. But eventually, this whole thing is going to be put underwater to act like a hybrid coral reef. I thought when I saw it right away, I hope they're not putting plastic in the ocean. I hope it's not that 3D printed plastic stuff. You can kind of see why I thought that when you see the close-up of this. Here's some people laying on the stars. It turns out it's not plastic at all. So it's meant to act as a replacement for the marine environment that's been lost to climate change. It's going to be placed in about 20 feet of water within swimming distance from the shore. So especially, and even after it's hopefully eventually covered with coral, you may be able to make out the shapes of all the sculptures that go down there. So it's going to be kind of cool. 46 different star-shaped modules will be arranged in a larger star shape. This was all fabricated at the University of New Hampshire. The stars, as you can see, range in size. Some look more like starfish. Some have floral motifs. They're all a little bit different. Each one features openings and small holes where lights were placed in and around these objects to create this illuminated installation. According to the New York Times, they did not make this out of plastic. It is a zero cement geopolymer concrete with mineralized carbon dioxide gas captures that is meant to scoop up carbon destined for the atmosphere and to store it for an indefinite amount of time. So they're going to, they also, by the way, use something called Coral Lock. LOK, Coral Lock. It's this device that aids in coral outplanting or growing coral in a lab environment before growing it in the wild. So it's been displayed on the beach at Miami's Mid Beach coastline for Art Week, and then the entire installation will eventually be submerged underwater as part of something called Reef Line, where it will stretch about 90 feet in diameter. You'll be able to see it from airplanes above. This is kind of a cool thing. So there's the entire installation. You can see it's pretty big in comparison to all the people standing around it. And when they get it in the water, apparently it's going to be as cool looking as it looks on the sand. So I like that bit of good news. Something else that's good, Lake Mead. It was pretty dangerous there for a while. The water levels were sinking, going down during the drought. Years and years we were dealing with, Lake Mead, the water levels kept dropping. Now they're finally on the rise. And according to SF Gate and the Colorado River Board of California, it's thanks to California. The farmers in California's Imperial Valley were told to cut back water use during the hot, dry southeastern corner, and it looks like it's paying off because Lake Mead's water level is now up by 16 feet after there was a couple years of voluntary conservation by water users here in California. Those users conserve more than 1.2 million acre feet of water since first making a late 2022 commitment to use less. So it's pretty good. The formal goal was to use 1.6 million acre feet less water by the end of 2026. They say that goal is still well within reach, and it will allow more water to remain in Lake Mead instead of continuing on to downstream water users. But it was touch and go there for a while. Check out the before pictures just from a couple of years ago. You can see where the water level was and how much it dropped. I mean, that's pretty drastic, I would say. They call it a bathtub ring around Lake Mead. It was a record low water level during drought conditions in 2021 that you're looking at right there. So they put some new strategies into place for reducing water use. It included paying farmers not to water their fields for some periods of time. There were some residential water strategies as well, turf replacement programs. In the Coachella Valley, where the good coffee comes from, one local water district reduced the amount of Colorado River water it uses to replenish their groundwater basin. They say that this has not only improved the water levels in Lake Mead, but has benefited the upper basin by reducing required Lake Powell releases as well. So whatever's happening is making a big difference, because look at that bathtub ring, and then look at where we are today. It just looks a lot better than it has been. Let me talk about sponges for a minute. The sponges live a long ass time. Let me tell you, I had no idea. They can live for 11,000 years. This has to be a record for the longest lifespan on planet Earth. They represent some of the longest living animals on the planet. The most impressive, according to IFL Science, can be found in Antarctica. Scientists estimate one of these specimens may be as old as 11,000 years. This sponge belongs to the species Monorphosis chuni. They spend their lives anchored to the ocean via this giant spicule. Their body is wrapped around the spicule, forming a cylinder, holding its body on a spike above the sea floor. The the longevity of these animals revealed a few years ago when scientists investigated the isotopic and elemental composition of a giant specimen skeleton. That sponge was already pretty impressive at about 6.5 feet long and a half an inch thick. But when they looked at the fine silicone Dioxamide lamellae is what's called. Those are the glass fiber-like rods that you can see. They looked at those and they grow like the rings of a tree. And they say the result of the age was absolutely staggering. About 11,000 years old. That sponge lived to see a lot of changes, just quietly growing away at about 3,600 feet down in the East China Sea until it was discovered. They went back 25 years after its discovery and got some pretty good information about the climate that it developed in by looking at these rods' growth patterns. And scientists say initially we recognized 4 areas under the electron microscope where these lamellae grew irregularly. They indicate time periods of increasing water temperature, for example, due to the eruption of a seamount. So that's pretty interesting. 11,000 years old. Crazy. Did you know that your hands can tell a little something about perhaps your drinking habits? Everyone's now going to be looking at their hands. How does yours look when you compare your middle finger to where your index finger and your ring finger come up? Are they equal? Is one longer than another? It's if you have fingernails, it's easier to look on the back side because I thought mine were equal, and now I'm seeing that my ring finger might be a little longer than my index finger. So I'm going to say I'm on the left over here. Now that you've discerned which one you are, there's a new study that's pointed to this weird correlation between someone's drinking habits and the ratio of their fourth digit, the ring finger, to the second digit. Scientists found a relationship between having a ring finger that's longer than the second digit and a high alcohol consumption. So I think that's me. The ring, oh no, it's the fourth finger. So it would be a ring finger. Yeah, it's over here. No, my index finger is longer, right? Where am I? This one, the index finger is shorter. The middle one, the index finger is longer. So it's the ring finger that needs to be longer, the picture on the left. So I think I'm the one in the middle. Anyway, what are you? Let me know. The ratio of our finger lengths is something that is set before birth, influenced by the hormones that we're exposed to in the room. The room being the womb. People exposed to more estrogen tend to have second digits longer than their ring finger, while those exposed to more testosterone can have ring fingers longer than their second digits. There are also people whose ring finger and second digits are exactly the same length. So the study looked at 258 people, 169 women, to see what their finger ratios were and how much alcohol they consumed. And the results, according to these researchers, showed there's a correlation between higher alcohol consumption and longer ring fingers relative to the second digits, pointing toward the potential influence of hormones as a contributor to the likelihood of imbibing. The study at the Swansea University Applied Sports Technology, Exercise and Medicine, or ASTEM, says a pattern like this suggests an involvement of sex hormones like testosterone and estrogen. It's known, they say, that alcohol dependent patients have a very long fourth digit relative to their second digit, suggesting high testosterone relative to estrogen exposure before birth. And as expected in this study, the associations were stronger for men than women. That's weird. Did you know this? Because maybe I'm just learning this for the first time. I never knew that about the fourth finger. Things you learn. They say it's known that alcohol dependent patients have a very long fourth digit relative to their second digit or pointer finger. And it suggests that high testosterone relative to estrogen exposure before birth, right? And it's worth pointing out, according to the researchers, The association can't establish cause and effect. So having a certain finger ratio doesn't, mean a slam dunk for the outcome. But what they're hoping is that by looking at this, they can eh, spotlight the factors of underlying alcohol abuse or use. The researchers say alcohol consumption is a major social economic problem. So it's important to understand why its use shows considerable differences across individuals. And if you're interested in this, the nuts and bolts of this study, it's published in the American Journal of Human Biology. So I'm going to the chat. I want to see who has a really long ring finger. Because mine is shorter, my ring finger, than my pointer and middle finger. So I'm going to see what you guys think about this and whether or not you knew this, because I absolutely did not. Okayest Mama says both my ring fingers are longer than my index. I don't drink, never have, never been tempted to. Teacher Lori says mine are different on left and right hands. Am I? Now I'm looking at. Nope, mine are the same on the left and right. What's it say about that? Doesn't say anything about that. Left hand is equal, right hand, ring finger longer. Pseudoscience, she says. See how you can manipulate statistics. She wouldn't go by that. All right. I think it does, although it would make sense that men are exposed to more testosterone. So, but there were men involved in this study. Yeah. Deidre says I have really long ring fingers. Well, that means if your ring finger's long, then that means you're allegedly, according to what Lori is calling pseudoscience, more predisposed to being a drinker. I don't know. Ren says from the front, my ring finger is longer than the index finger, but from the palm side, it's the other way around. Yeah, I have, because you have to look at it from the back side because you can't count your fingernails, right? Yeah. Wes Theory says my ring finger drags on the ground, Kim. I'm gonna leave that one alone. I don't know about that. Um, the third hand is like mine. Yeah. No, I think mine too. Interesting. Well, whether it's pseudoscience or not, I never knew that there was some type of finger anomaly in people that drank versus people that didn't. Trevor says my ring finger is much longer. I really don't drink. I've had my share in the past, though. Haven't we all? Yeah. Peter says, I can assure you there's nothing wrong in that department, little Marco. Hands on the floor doing push ups. Maybe the more you drink, the longer your ring finger gets, says John Watson. I don't think they did that part of the study. It's all about in the womb. Yeah. Liz says, I don't know. My ring finger is longer, but I don't drink much. Are we all just looking at our hands right now? Like, what's going on? Weird science, says Phineas. Wes says, mine are on the left, and I do partake too much sometimes. Oh, well, I don't know. Maybe there's something to it. I just had never heard that before, so I thought that was really fascinating. Yeah, my pointer finger is longer than my ring finger. My what is it? I'll call the ring finger the fourth finger next to the pinky. If you start with thumb being number 1, my number 2 finger, the pointer finger, is just a touch longer than the fourth finger, my ring finger. So I don't know, but I'm fascinated by it. Oh, Deidre, no, say it's not so. A $5 super chat, and thank you for the contribution. Deidre says, I have to skip trivia due to a stupid meeting, heading to Maui in the morning for 10 days. Aloha, beaches. Absolutely. Aloha to you too, Deidre. I hope you have a great time in Maui. And send us pictures from the beach. I love to show them. And I'm sorry you're missing trivia, but you know what, Deidre? Really, it gives everyone else a chance to get some answers right first. So, I'm sure people are like, we'll miss you, Deidre. And now let's play. Exactly. Have a great trip, Deidre, says Heather. Yeah, have a really good time. Travel safely. SJ Lola says, have a blast. So, yeah. Enjoy, Luis says, enjoy aloha, says Luis. Have a good time. We're all jealous of you. We all want to come stay at your condo in Maui. Absolutely. But speaking of the ocean and the sea, let's talk about this shipwreck. This is a 2,500-year-old shipwreck discovered off the coast of Sicily. It dates back to the 5th and 6th centuries BC, discovered near Sicily along with ancient anchors made from stone and iron. It was found buried beneath sand and rocks by crews working on this underwater excavation projects in the waters of Santa Maria del Focalo near Ispica at the southern tip of Sicily. Archaeologists unearthed the sunken ship. They discovered a hull built using an on-the-shell construction technique. Apparently, that's a very simplistic early shipbuilding method, traced often to populations around the Mediterranean. They also found a trove of anchors like the one featured here, several feet from this wreckage. 2 of the anchors were made from iron and likely originated in the 7th century AD. The other 4 anchors were made from heavy stone and probably, they say, date back to the prehistoric era. How weird is that? Maybe the stone dates back that far. I didn't think they had anchors or ships that far back in history. Archaeologists created a 3-dimensional model of the shipwreck. They collected samples from the artifacts for analysis, trying to understand more about what all these materials are actually composed of. So I have another picture. Here's the divers cataloging all the things they're finding at this shipwreck off the coast of Sicily. They did this. They said this shipwreck dates back to a crucial period for the transition between archaic and classical Greece. And they say it's a precious piece of the submerged Sicilian cultural heritage. There is a statement on the shipwreck that's been published by the University of Udine. The excavation here lasted 3 weeks. It was part of this project, an archaeological research initiative, which ended in September, but the findings didn't come out until recently. The folks that are involved with this project say it could potentially shine a light on a pretty important chapter of ancient Greece, which occupied Sicily for hundreds of years until the island was taken by Rome, and that was about 200 BC. There's a professor at the University of Udine. His name is Massimo Capulli. He says that studying this wreck may help shine the light on how trade happened between the ancient Greeks and the Carthaginians. Those are 2 groups that thousands of years ago fought for control of the seas around what is now present-day Sicily. They said, we are in fact faced with material evidence of the traffic and trade of a very ancient era. So there it is, this 2,500-year-old shipwreck. And again, the anchors, which are super cool looking. Here's the picture of the anchor. Imagine how long that's been there, just laying around. Let's go to Scrabble. I don't know if you have a favorite board game. Scrabble is mine. I play it often, Words with Friends. I play with my mom. I play with people. If you're friends with me on Facebook, I think that's how I get to it, through Facebook. But you can always Words with Friends me, because I love to play. This guy, though, plays real Scrabble with a board and everything. And he has won, yet again, in a language that he does not speak. He doesn't speak Spanish, and yet he won the Spanish Scrabble Championship. They call him the Tiger Woods of Scrabble. And he took the top spot at the Spanish World Scrabble Championships in Granada, Spain, and he doesn't speak any Spanish at all. His name is Nigel Richards. He's from New Zealand. He currently lives in Malaysia. And he beat a team of 145 opponents. So he's the best out of 145 Spanish Scrabble players. He beats them all and doesn't speak Spanish. 22 consecutive matches were involved in his win. He is the #1 ranked player in the World English Language Scrabble Players Association. And again, they call him the Tiger Woods of Scrabble. He's got nearly 200 tournament victories and Scrabble tournament victories to his name. They say he's a really gifted guy. He has some very particular, incredible abilities. His strategy involves learning a lot of complex words and unusual choices that throw off his opponents. So, one reporter said he had a hand that was the most obvious one that a computer would give to you, and he didn't use it. He wouldn't use it. And this is not the first time he's done this kind of thing. He previously won the French language title in 2015 and again in 2018. Doesn't speak a lick of French, doesn't understand it, doesn't speak it, nothing. And here's how he does it. He apparently spent 9 weeks memorizing the nearly 400,000 word French language Scrabble dictionary, picking the words with the most common letters that you would get, right? Because you know when you start playing a lot of Scrabble, like what you're going to need, what kind of knowledge you're going to need. So he'll study the language dictionary. He doesn't care about the meaning of the words. He just cares how they're spelled. Yeah, studies the words and their spellings, but not their meanings. So doesn't understand the word, doesn't know what the word means or how it would be used in a sentence, but knows how it's spelled so he can manipulate the letters like this. A friend of his said, he won't know what they mean, wouldn't be able to carry on a conversation in French. But there it is. It's funny because when I play Scrabble with my husband, which he won't play with me anymore. No one wants to play Scrabble with me anymore. That's why I was soliciting you to play Scrabble with me. But he says, you shouldn't be able to play a word if you don't know what it means. And that's not the game. I mean, hopefully you know what the word means, but that's not the game. The game is to make words out of letters. Now, if you don't spell them right, then you can get challenged. But you don't have to know what the word means. If, though, you want a true game of, I'll say, vocabularian, I don't know if that's a word, someone who, has a great vocabulary and is exercising their knowledge, then that would make sense that you would want to know what the words mean. But that's not the rules. The rules are, them's not the rules. The rules are, all you have to do is spell the word correctly. And if it's a legit word, that it counts. So this guy wins in Spanish, wins twice in French, and doesn't speak any of these languages. Hope the prize money's good, says Sea Dog. It is. You can make some money. You think he's cheating? I think he has one of those photographic memories or something where he studies, he knows the right words to study, tests himself on, a variety of words that he would need to manipulate the letters that he'll most likely get. Done. Nullifidian once won a Scrabble tournament, but it wasn't in Spanish. Ooh, cool. I like that. Very cool. I'm fascinated by that. By being able to study words in a different language, spell them, and do this in a language you don't speak. I don't think I could pull that off. Yeah. Oh, I think you're talking about the other story. I think I'm fascinated by it. Viewfinder says, I just bought a French dictionary because there's a lot of words, mostly common phrases. Oh, yeah, but you're actually probably trying to speak French, right? Nullifidian says the 2-letter words are very useful in Scrabble. 2-letter high point words and words that you can use your Q without a U, right? Murphy says, Kim will go to the mats on this one. I will, it's true. Teacher Lori says during centers, I'd let my students play Scrabble on iPads. They had to check words, English as additional language, had to use your husband's rules. Newcomers were allowed to play in Spanish. Yeah, I mean, it's about expanding your vocabulary and reaffirming your spelling. So that's great for the classroom. Yeah, Nullifidian says he must have a great memory. That's just crazy. SJ Lola says studying Italian will increase your English vocabulary. Everything's related. Trevor says everyone always refused to play Scrabble with my mother. Not that she was that good. She was just a, oh, you have to fill in that blank. I don't think I'm mean about it, but I will often win because I know those 2-letter words. And I do use words that I don't know the meaning of that are just Scrabble words that are kind of tricks to get you through. So I don't know. Phineas says, I don't have a photographic memory. Oh no. Well, I guess there's something for that, right? Yeah. Everything has its benefits, Phineas. Okay, let's move on from this guy and talk about the moon fort that will be coming. Yeah. The moon buildings will be coming soon. Permanent buildings will likely be built on the moon within the next few decades. And designers are already getting in on this. We've mentioned this before. NASA now preparing to send astronauts back to the moon in 2027. And they're already thinking about how lunar resources could be exploited for commercial purposes. We saw recently on this show a designer who and scientists who were thinking that we could take moon dust and compact them into these Lego shaped bricks. Remember that story? They're now, though, looking at the big picture view of the future, setting out the early stages of longer term programs on the moon. So when we go back to the moon, hopefully in 2027, now that it's been pushed out, it'll be the first time since the US put astronauts on the moon with the Apollo 17 in 1972. So it's been a while. The difference, though, is this time we are maybe looking around, scouting out places for where we can build, what we can use, and doing this type of research. NASA's looking for longer term residency on the moon because they see, pardon me, they see the potential for commercial opportunities here. And one of the questions around the moon is the business case of building out permanent habitation on the moon. So, are we there to do mining or some sort of profitable thing? In which case, the commercial industry would take the lead more? Is this more of a science type platform like Antarctica? This is what they're looking at long term, the questions they're trying to answer. What are we going to do on the moon? And the hope is that in the next few decades, we're looking at more permanent commercial infrastructure. It's what they call sustained lunar evolution. The designers say that they're starting to see tourism in low Earth orbit. And so the possibilities are endless at the moment. And it depends on how much we can make this an accessible thing through science and technology exploration so the business community can find those opportunities in the future. And there are, they think, some comparisons between building structures on the moon and in the harsh conditions of Antarctica. We'll see. In the closer term, the vision is an international scientific and technological endeavor. And then maybe longer term, citizens, just the general population traveling to the moon. I don't know. The structures, they say, are not likely to look like the buildings we're used to seeing on Earth. The small habitats will likely be built with designs that can be extended into larger settlements. So when you think of the word building, you think of maybe multi-story buildings or a larger structure. They said they're looking at how they get a foothold with smaller pressurized elements. The immediate goal will be to get enough infrastructure to support a crew for 1 month, which is looking maybe pretty accomplishable in the next decade. And then from there, they'll start building it out. The permanent habitation, probably still a way off in the future with people just living there full time because of the challenge of sustaining the systems that power the levels during the lunar nights which means they have many days in length at the South Pole, 2 weeks long at the equator. So they're still trying to figure all that out. They say cylinder structures are the best structures to build for pressurized elements. So they're looking at these cylindrical modules, building in airlocks and sustainable crew living systems, toilets, beds, hammocks, things like that. So it's interesting. All right, I want to make sure we have enough time for trivia. So let us switch it over and bring it in. This is going to be Trivia Thursday, after party style. You guys ready for the questions? I'm going to the chat. Here we are. We can't have healthcare, but we're going to the moon. Gold on the moon. Yeah. Gordon says, some say don't pollute the moon. Will the moon base need shield protection from solar wind? I'm sure it will. And radiation, all kinds of stuff. Okayest mama ever says, I don't want to live on the moon. Ernie from Sesame Street. Interesting. Okay, here we are. Trivia Thursday. And I have a bunch of different style questions with this. First one, music related. Rihanna banned fans from bringing what items to her UK concerts in 2008? What items did she ban, Rihanna, from her concerts in 2008? And it has to do with one of her songs. I'll just give you that hint. Oh, we already knew. Cranky Charcoal says the umbrella. Umbrella, Ella. Yep. Umbrella. Cranky has it. Sea Dog has it. Trump hats, not the answer, but good. Like it. Not phones, not toast. Umbrellas, says Heather. That's exactly right. John Slade has it as well. Nice. Ella. A. Nice. Okay, next one. Who created the alien rock superstar Ziggy Stardust? Who created the alien rock superstar Ziggy Stardust? And the answer is David Bowie. Peter Newton, quick on the uptake there. Peter has it. Sandy has it. SJ Lola has it. Oops, where'd SJ go? I had it in there somewhere. Rev P has it. Ren has it. Eileen, Heather, Trevor, Teacher Lori, Tammy, my favorite Bowie, says Sea Dog. Absolutely. I lost you, SJ. There you are. SJ Lola. Yeah. Next question. Which young girl helped drive the English from French soil in the 15th century? We're doing history. Which young girl helped drive the English from French soil in the 15th century? You guys got it. Ooh, these questions, not to thwart you at all. Either these questions are easier than I thought, or you guys are awesome, and I choose to think you're awesome. Dance Attack says Joan of Arc, and Dance Attack is correct. Heather has it as well. John and Ren's got it. Okayest Mama has it. John Watson, Linda G, Eileen's on it. You guys are awesome. Tammy has it. Teacher, good job. Next one. What U.S. president coined the phrase good to the last drop, referring to coffee? What U.S. president coined the phrase good to the last drop, referring to coffee? It was not Eisenhower. Maxwell. I don't think we had a President Maxwell. It was indeed Roosevelt, but it was Theodore Roosevelt, not Franklin. It was Theodore Roosevelt. Nice. John Watson gets it. Well done. Okay. What are cruciferous vegetables? What are cruciferous vegetables? Cruciferous vegetables. What are they? Leafy, says Okayest Mama. Green leafy ones, says Heather. I'll accept the answer. Leafy ones. Broccoli, says Sea Dog. Tammy says broccoli. Cabbage family, says Teacher Lori. And that's really the closest thing to the given answer. The answer is vegetables in the cabbage family, like cabbage, bok choy, and cauliflower. Cauliflower is a lot like broccoli, so I think broccoli is an acceptable answer. And cabbage is kind of leafy, so I think leafy is the right answer, right? But yes, they are vegetables that are in the cabbage family. So well done. Yeah, cruciferous, cross shaped. That's pretty good. No, but I like the answer. Yep. Okay, next question. Good job, you guys. Where is the busiest McDonald's in the world? The busiest McDonald's in the world. The answer surprised me, I have to say it. Oh, Gordon wants to make sure SJ Lola got credit for that. Well done. SJ Lola will give you the credit. And Teacher Lori for saying the cabbage. A lot of answers. So we have some answers. Let's see. Hong Kong, Shanghai, Japan, New York. Those are all good answers and not correct. Paris, nope. Not in Manhattan, not in Beijing, nor Singapore. Not at Trump Tower, or Tokyo, or at Mar-a-Lago. No. Not in Altoona, Pennsylvania, although that one gets a lot of traffic. Not in Santa Rosa. I'll give you the answer. The busiest McDonald's in the world, Munich, Germany. You'd think they'd have plenty of good German meat, right? Bratwurst and whatever. Liverwurst. They're all going to McDonald's, apparently. They love it. In Munich, Germany. Next one. Another McDonald's-related question. And then we'll go science-y. Which of the following McDonald's menu items have... Oh, well, they say which of the following. I'll just ask you, what McDonald's menu item has 1,320 calories? What McDonald's menu item has 1,320 calories? Not freedom fries. It is the Big Mac. Yeah. Peter says Big Mac. Big Mac is correct. Looks like almost everybody got Big Mac. SJ Lola with Big Mac. Dance Attack with Big Mac. Jim, aloha, Big Mac. Double burger. That's kind of a Big Mac, right? Big Mac, says Phineas and Sandy. Yep, it's the Big Mac. All right, the next one. Which star is the Alpha Ursa Minoris? Which star is the Alpha Ursa Minoris? What's it called in addition to that? Yeah, Peter's got it. It's Polaris. That is correct. Polaris is right. Cameo has it as well. Polaris. Well done. All the answers pop up at the right time at the same time, so I'm trying to make sure I get it all. It is Polaris. Is Polaris the same thing as the North Star? We're typing that in. North Star, also called. You guys probably are already answering it. Yeah, also called the North Star. So anyone who said North Star, you got that right too. My apologies. Things we learn on the way through trivia. How long does each season last on Neptune? How long does each season last on Neptune? 27 years is a really good guess. A year is a good guess. 11,780 days, always an acceptable answer. Heather says 7 years. We're going for longer than that. It's pretty good. Almost feels like forever. Yep. What do we have? The answer is 40 years, more than 40 years. Each season on Neptune lasts for more than 40 years. Is that crazy? What do scientists call the disk that encircles a black hole? What do scientists call the disk that encircles a black hole? Hmm. It's the disk that encircles a black hole. And I don't know if I'm going to say it right, so I'll display the answer on the screen. Oh, you guys got it. I don't need to write the answer on the screen. You guys are all over this one. They call it see if I'm saying it right, accretion? The accretion disk. I'll also take accretion. I think that's close enough. Accretion, yes. So we have John Slade, John Watson, viewfinders, nullifidian, accretion. Rev has it. The accretion disk. Cosmic frisbee. I'm taking that answer just because I enjoy it so much. Yeah, good job, you guys. Well done. Next question. What are the storms produced by the sun called? We've seen a lot of these lately. What are the storms produced by the sun called? I think this one's about how fast you can type. Yeah, that's a good one, Heather. Oh, Rev P says it's accretion. And I said accretion. It's accretion. Okay. All right. They are called. I'll accept this. Solar flares. They're called solar storms. But solar flare, solar storm, very similar, right? A solar flare, solar wind, solar flare, sunstorms. Well, yeah, solar storms. Absolutely. Solar storms. Yeah. Solar nullifidians, Heather. You guys are good. Yeah, that was a good one. Okay, next one. Which constellation represents a hunter and weapons? Which constellation represents a hunter and weapons? Yeah, you guys. SJ Lola with Orion. Quick with the fingers today, SJ. Peter has it. Nullifidian has it. Sandy has it. Cameo and Jennifer and Heather. Well done. Rev, Nancy, teacher. Good job, you guys. Gordon. Trevor got it. John got it. Next one. What is the largest type of star in the universe? What is the largest type of star in the universe? Yeah, SJ Lola, quick to the punch here. The red supergiant stars is the answer. Red supergiant stars. They have the largest volume of all of the stars in the known universe. They're classified as K or M spectral types. So the answer is red supergiant stars. And we have SJ Lola and Cameo and John and Heather and Jennifer, all going for it. Story of my life. It was in my brain, but couldn't pull it out quick. Oh, that sounds bad. Nullifidian, yes. John, yes. Sandy has it, and Peter and Ren and viewfinders and Trevor Star. You are the biggest star in the universe, my friend. Absolutely. Okay. The next one. Which planets do not have natural satellites? Which planets do not have a natural satellite? This one's for my nerd friends, because I would never know the answer to this one. Which planets do not have a natural satellite? There are two. Yep. Look at you guys. Look how many nerdy friends I have. You guys are so good. Okay, the first answer I see that is correct is Peter Newton, Mercury and Venus. That is the right answer. All the planets in the solar system except Mercury and Venus have natural satellites. So look at you go. Peter has it. And John Watson gets partial credit. Heather gets full credit. Mercury and Venus correct. Nullifidian, Mercury and Venus. Pluto and Mars, no. Mercury and Venus, S.J. Lola, and Mercury and Venus for Jennifer Lenfrey. Lenfesti. How did I get that wrong? Lenfesti. Which sounds very festive. Lenfesti. And looks like, what else do we have? The boring ones. The boring ones. Good job, you guys. Huh. And Pluto. I refuse to ignore Pluto. Wes says, what about Pluto? Is it considered a planet? Sandy says, I will always consider Pluto to be a planet. Okay. The last question. What is the most common type of star found in the Milky Way? What is the most common type of star found in the Milky Way? Sorry, my voice gave out there. Most common type of star found in the Milky Way. Yeah, it is the red dwarf. Not the red giant this time, the red dwarf. Nullifidian has it, and not the white dwarf, it's the red dwarf. Dance Attack has it. The twinkling kind. I like that answer. The dwarf. I'll take dwarf. Nice. And thus concludes Trivia Thursday, after party style. Huge thank you to everyone who participated. So glad to have you along for this. I'm so glad we can do this every week. I have, for Christmas, have asked for some really cool trivia books. So I'm excited to have some new trivia questions to put your way. Thank you to Wes for the $5 PayPal contribution. Really appreciate it. Janet with a $50 contribution to the show. John R. Murphy throwing in a contribution overnight as well. Deidre with a $5 super chat today. And sorry you missed trivia, but thank you so much for the contribution, and aloha. Happy trails to you, and safe travels to Maui. Thank you guys so much. I will see you. Take the picture off. I will see you tonight for the Nikki Maduro Show, 5 p.m. Pacific, right here on YouTube, The Nikki Maduro Show. We have a little cocktail or a mocktail or an iced tea, whatever you have to drink. Settle back in your chair and let's talk some politics together. Kind of a laid back atmosphere. Really would love to have you along for the ride. So come check out The Nikki Maduro Show, 5 p.m. tonight. And then tomorrow, the last day of Michael Schur filling in for Mark Thompson on the Mark Thompson Show. He's got a great political analyst lined up, a congressperson, I think from Tennessee. Also, we'll talk about books. We'll talk about Friday Fabulous Florida, and Michael Snyder will be here. Tomorrow on this show, on the After Party Live, we welcome Tim Sika to talk about movies and entertainment. All right, everybody, go out there and make it a great rest of your Thursday. Until 5 p.m., I'll see you back on YouTube. Bye-bye.
The After Party Live would like to thank the following contributors and viewers like you.
I'm sorry about that, but I'm glad to give you a break from that. Isn't that funny? We all kind of figured that. We know you well enough to know. It's okay. You could be Dance Attack. I don't know. We'll see. If you guys don't like the book, don't like the questions, you'll have to let me know. I don't want to make it too. She goes back and forth. Well, that's a good suggestion. Maybe I'll have him do that. Thank you. Happy birthday, Heather! Yay! I wish I'd known that I could have played Jacob's birthday song for you. Happy birthday. I'll play it for you tomorrow. Well, you're gonna miss tomorrow. Maybe I have to stop everything and play it now. What do you think? I think I might have to. All right. I already have this little thing going on. But it's Heather. I feel like I have to. I have to. Stop the presses. Stop the goodbyes. Stop everything. We have to say happy birthday to Heather. It's a must do. It's completely mandatory. Here it goes. All right. Here you have it. This is for you, Heather.
You requested a happy birthday song, so I'm gonna give you one. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthdays to you.
From Jacob and I. Happy birthday. Okay, are you ready? Now we're back to goodbyes. I won't play the whole thing again, but we are back to goodbyes. Sorry, had to do it. Couldn't be helped, right? All right. Love you back. Louise, thank you for the $2 super chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And for your nice comment to Heather. I don't think she's going to sit still for that, Phineas. All right, everybody. Have a good one. Bye, you guys.